After my brother died, his comrade, the man with the metal pin to his chest, knelt at my doorstep for 3 days and 3 nights, begging me to marry him. The neighbors all marveled at his loyalty and righteousness. Your brother traded his life for this comrade, he's definitely trustworthy. He wants to take care of you for the rest of your life in your brother's place. What a good man. His eyes were bloodshot as he swore to me. Xiao Sui, from now on, I'll be your sky. As long as I'm alive, no one will ever bully you. Until I accidentally overheard his drunken words at a gathering of his comrades. What was I supposed to do? Damn it, he took a bullet for me, I had to repay him somehow, right? Marry his sister, take care of her for life, and that debt is settled. Love? Don't make me laugh. The only one in my heart is Xiaowen. In a couple of years, when everyone's forgotten, I'll find an excuse to divorce her. I stood outside the private room, clutching my brother's military medal tightly, then turned and walked away. On the day we were supposed to register our marriage, he showed up in a suit, anxiously calling me at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Xiao Sui, why aren't you here yet? I looked at my brother's photo and the donated Medal of Honor in the exhibition hall, my voice calm. My brother's medal is a glory that calls him to defend the country, not a shackle for you to use against his sister. You don't need to repay this debt. And this marriage, it's off. The call ended, and Lu Qingxiao's accusatory messages flooded my phone. Jiang Sui, what do you mean? If you're going to throw a tantrum, at least pick the right time. His tone was impatient, as if it were only natural. I didn't reply. I just blocked him. The world fell silent. That silence lasted less than 10 minutes. Heavy military boots echoed down the hallway, thud, 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 each step landing squarely on my heart. I knew that sound all too well. After my brother died, Lu Qingxiao wore those very boots and knelt outside my door for 3 days and 3 nights. Back then, that sound was a source of comfort. Now, it was the drumbeat of doom, reminding me how absurd my colossal lie had become. Bang! 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 He pounded on the door, the panels shaking. Open up. Jiang Sui, say it to my face. Did someone put ideas in your head? His furious voice rang through. I leaned against the door, rage burning inside me, yet my voice stayed utterly flat. I coldly repeated his words from the dinner table. Marry his sister, take care of her for life, and that debt is repaid. In a couple of years, when everyone's forgotten, I'll find a reason to divorce her. The pounding stopped abruptly. Dead silence. That silence proved I hadn't misheard. A few seconds later, he scrambled to defend himself. You heard that. Xiao Sui, you misheard. That was drunk talk, it doesn't count. His voice softened, laced with pleading. He brought up my brother again, his favorite weapon. Xiao Sui, let me explain. I drank too much that day, I was rambling. How could I ever think that? Your brother is watching us from above. If you keep this up, do you want him to die with his eyes open? There it was again, using my brother to pressure me. Just then, a shrill ringtone cut through his performance. He instinctively answered, and his tone shifted instantly. Xiaowen, I'm fine. That voice carried a patience and tenderness I'd never heard from him. Just a small misunderstanding. I'll sort it out soon. Don't worry, get some rest. The female voice on the other end stabbed into my ears like needles. Qingxiao, don't push her too hard. She just lost her brother, she's hurting inside. you need to be more understanding. She's still just a child. I know, Lu Qingxiao's tone grew even softer. You're always so kind. The contrast in his tone hit me like a bucket of ice water. I snapped awake, leaving only a chill. The last bubble of hope inside me burst completely, leaving nothing behind. I spoke calmly to the door, each word crystal clear. Lu Qingxiao, my brother traded his life to keep you alive, not so you could use his name to stage a grand performance of self-righteousness. Performing for others, performing for yourself, even performing for the person in your heart. Lu Qingxiao's breath caught on the other side of the door. I continued, each word like ice. And stop calling me Xiao Sui. It disgusts me. My brother only ever had one sister, me. With that, I stopped paying attention to what was outside. I turned, walked back inside, and shut the door. The news of my refusal to marry spread through the family compound within a day. Overnight, I became the ungrateful, bad woman. The neighbors' gazes shifted from sympathy to accusation. When I went out to take out the trash, Aunt Zhang grabbed my arm. Xiao Sui, that boy Qingxiao is such a good man. He knelt for 3 days and 3 nights, that's real sincerity. How could you treat him like this? When I went to buy groceries, Uncle Li sighed. Child, you've been spoiled by your brother. You don't know how to repay kindness. Qingxiao is a hero, you can't trample on his feelings like this. Exactly. Your brother is watching from above, do you think he'd rest easy seeing you like this? These words left me breathless. They stood on their moral high ground, judging me with loyalty and righteousness. But none of them knew the filthy calculations in that man's heart. The second day after the rumors spread, Lu Qingxiao's parents came to my door. They sat on the sofa, keeping a low posture, speaking with earnest sincerity. His mother held my hand, her eyes reddening. Xiao Sui, Qingxiao is just clumsy with words, he can't express himself well. But he truly wants to be good to you, to take care of you in Jiangwei's place. His father chimed in. That's right. He treats you like his own sister, and will treat you like our own daughter. From now on, we're family. As she spoke, his mother took a jewelry box from her bag and opened it in front of me. Inside was a platinum necklace with a star pendant that glittered. This is a gift for you, Qingxiao picked it out especially. Put it on and see. I stared at that necklace, my heart twisting in pain. What a coincidence. It was identical to the one Lin Xiaowen wore in the photo my brother had sent home. My brother said it was a gift from Lu Qingxiao, and at the time I'd teased him, saying his comrade had great taste. Now, it was nothing but irony. I even remembered that in the photo, there was a scratch on one corner of the star pendant. I picked up the necklace and looked closely. Same spot, same angle, a matching scratch. So I was just a replacement he couldn't be bothered to put effort into. Perhaps this was simply Lin Xiaowen's old belonging. A wave of nausea surged up. I pushed the jewelry box back. My voice faint. Uncle, Auntie, this is too precious. I can't accept it. His mother's face darkened, her gaze turning scrutinizing and displeased. Child, why are you so stubborn? After seeing them off, I opened my phone and saw a post on Moments. It was a charity fundraiser organized by the military hospital. In the photo, Lu Qingxiao and Lin Xiaowen stood side by side, him smiling as he dropped money into the donation box. Lin Xiaowen looked up at him, her eyes full of admiration. The caption read, "A hero's gentleness, the other side of a warrior." One comment below stood out, glaringly sharp. At Brother Qingxiao, accompanying your sister-in-law to charity work. Careful, your real fiancé might get jealous. Lu Qingxiao replied, his tone open and magnanimous. It's all for a good cause. She's not that petty, she's understanding. One sentence nailed me to the pillar of shame. It dressed his betrayal as my narrow-mindedness. I turned off my phone, my chest heavy. I didn't go home. I took a bus to the cemetery on the outskirts. At my brother's grave, I set out cloud-pattern cakes, speaking softly, tears streaming down my face. Brother, I think I made a mistake. A click sounded behind me. I whipped around and saw a bespectacled man holding a camera. Seeing me, he immediately lowered the camera, walked over quickly, and gave me a solemn bow. Hello, you're Jiang Wei, the hero's sister, Ms. Jiang Sui, right? His voice was warm and sincere. My name is Qin Fong. I'm a military history journalist. I deeply admire your brother, and I'd like to write an in-depth feature about him, to let more people know his story, not just a cold casualty notice. His eyes held pure respect, without pity or scrutiny. For the first time in a long while, I was treated as Jiang Sui. Not as the poor, pitiable sister of the hero Jiang Wei who needs taking care of. My brother's unit was going to hold a ceremony to posthumously award him a first-class merit. Lu Qingxiao notified me. His tone on the phone brooked no argument. Xiao Sui, this is your brother's honor. You must be there. I'll pick you up at 3 in the afternoon. As if nothing had ever happened between us. I refused. I'll go on my own. There was a few seconds of silence on the other end, followed by an impatient voice. Jiang Sui, stop acting like a child. What kind of occasion is this? The whole military district is watching. Do you really want to make everyone look bad? I hung up directly. On the day of the ceremony, I wore a black dress and went alone to the military district auditorium. The moment I reached the entrance, I saw Lu Qingxiao. He was in full uniform, medals gleaming, laughing and chatting with several leaders. Standing beside him was Lin Xiaowen. She wore an elegant white dress, her hair pinned up, with just the right amount of sorrow and reverence on her face. Lu Qingxiao told me Lin Xiaowen was attending as a specially invited outstanding medical representative. How ridiculous. The moment Lin Xiaowen saw me, she warmly took my arm with practiced familiarity. Xiao Sui, you're here. Qingxiao talks about you every day, saying you're the one he worries about most. He asked me to treat you like my own little sister and look after you. Her words were like staking a claim. And implying that I was just a child who needed their care. I pulled my hand back without a trace, looked at her, and gave a faint The smile on Lin Xiaowen's face froze for a moment, but quickly recovered. During the ceremony, the host passionately recounted my brother's deeds. Then he invited Lu Qingxiao to speak as a representative. Lu Qingxiao stood under the spotlight, tall and striking. When he opened his mouth, his voice was hoarse. His eyes red. He tearfully recounted the circumstances of my brother's sacrifice, every word solemn and tragic. His last words as he pushed me away were, "Qingxiao, take care of my sister." At the end, he turned and gazed intensely at me in the audience, his voice trembling. "Jiang Wei, my good brother. Rest assured, your sister is my sister. I will spend my life protecting your most cherished sister in your place." Thunderous applause erupted from the audience. Everyone looked at us with moved and approving eyes. I felt suffocated. As if I were bound in a net woven from my brother's blood and honor. I was being held hostage. In the name of love and gratitude. If I resisted, I would be a sinner who betrayed a hero's last wish. When the ceremony ended, I stood up and left immediately, not wanting to stay a second longer. A large hand grabbed my arm roughly. It was Lu Qingxiao. He dragged me backstage and hissed at me in a low voice, his face showing nothing but irritation. "What are you throwing a tantrum about now? Showing me a cold face at an occasion like this? Do you want your brother's spirit in heaven to have no peace?" He used my most beloved brother to pass moral judgment on me. The last shred of consideration in my heart was shattered by him. I wrenched my arm free, raised my head, and stared at him coldly. "Lu Qingxiao," I said slowly, word by word. "My brother's spirit in heaven is watching you defend the country, not watching you bully his sister." His pupils contracted sharply. I looked at his stunned expression and pulled a cold smile. "And don't use my brother as an excuse anymore. You don't deserve it." That hypocritical ceremony was like a thorn, piercing deep into my heart. I locked myself in the house for 2 days. Lu Qingxiao's calls and messages, I ignored them all. The strange looks from the neighbors, I turned a blind eye to them as well. On the 3rd night, I couldn't sleep. I walked into my brother's room, everything still exactly as it was before he left. On the desk, there was still a photo of him and Lu Qingxiao. In the picture, they were so young, so radiant. I ran my fingers over my brother's bookshelf, tracing the spines. As if possessed, I pulled out his favorite book, How the Steel Was Tempered. As the pages turned, a brown paper-wrapped object fell out. It was a small diary. My brother had a habit of keeping a diary, but I had never seen this one. My heart pounded violently, and with trembling hands, I opened it. The diary recorded everything around his final mission. The earlier entries confirmed what I had overheard in his drunken words. Lu Qingxiao, eager to earn merit, ignored all warnings and changed the original infiltration route without authorization. But when I flipped to the last page, I stopped breathing. Those few lines, scrawled messily from blood loss, nearly pierced through the paper. "The map was lost, it's my fault. Qingxiao changed the route on a risky gamble to cover it up. He can't be the one to fall, he's still young, he has a bright future. Take care of Xiao Sui for me. Tell her. Your brother has no regrets." Boom, my mind went completely blank. So it was Lu Qingxiao who had made the fatal mistake of losing the military map. And my brother, to cover for him, to protect his future, had walked that path of death. Lu Qingxiao's repayment, how could that be deep loyalty and affection? It was clearly guilt, a scheme to use the shackle of taking care of you for life, to bury this secret forever. I clutched the diary tightly, my nails digging into my palms, blood seeping out, yet I felt no pain. Only a towering hatred, ignited from the depths of my heart, sweeping through every limb and bone. I seemed to have fallen into an abyss, and the one who pushed me down was the very sky I once believed in. Lu Qingxiao, how ruthless your heart is. You not only killed my brother, but you also used his sacrifice to build your reputation of deep loyalty, exploiting his death, deceiving his sister. The military decided to permanently display my brother's Medal of Honor and his story in the Military Honor Exhibition Hall. The day before the opening ceremony, Lu Qingxiao called me. His tone was excited and matter-of-fact. "Xiao Sui, tomorrow means a lot to us. This is Jiang Wei's glory, and it's our glory too. I'll come pick you up in person. Together, we'll place your brother's medal in the hall." The word "together" was utterly ironic. I held the phone, looked out the window, and answered calmly. "No need. I've already arrived at a place you should go to most, yet never dare to. Lu Qingxiao paused on the other end, then laughed. Arrived? Where? Don't tell me you're waiting at the exhibition hall entrance right now. Silly girl, it doesn't officially start until tomorrow. I didn't explain. I hung up directly. The next day, at the Military Honor Exhibition Hall. Lu Qingxiao, dressed in a brand new military uniform with medals gleaming on his chest, greeted guests at the entrance. He basked in the congratulations and admiration, enjoying the halo of being a hero's family member. Lin Xiaowen, in an elegant white suit, stood gently by his side. A perfect couple, devoted and loving. To those who didn't know the truth, they looked flawless. But Lu Qingxiao searched around and couldn't find me anywhere. His brow gradually furrowed. The ceremony began. The host stepped onto the stage and announced loudly. Today, with profound grief and admiration, we gather to remember our hero, Comrade Jiang Wei. Now, let us welcome today's most important guest, the hero Jiang Wei's sister, Ms. Jiang Sui. She will share the story behind the hero and personally donate this medal, bearing supreme honor, to the exhibition hall. The spotlight swept to the stage entrance. Everyone's gaze focused there. Lu Qingxiao also stood up, a proud smile on his face. He straightened his collar, ready for his moment of glory. It was the most brilliant scene in his carefully scripted plan. However, the stage entrance was empty. I did not appear. Instead, it was the journalist, Qin Fong. Holding a microphone, he walked onto the stage with a solemn expression. Lu Qingxiao's smile froze. His eyes filled with confusion and a sense of foreboding. Qin Fong bowed to the audience, then pointed to the electronic screen behind him. Hello everyone, I'm military journalist Qin Fong. Due to special circumstances, Ms. Jiang Sui cannot be here in person. But she entrusted me, and all the truth, to bring you a special video. The screen lit up. The moment the image became clear, Lu Qingxiao's face changed drastically, all color draining from it. In the footage, I stood on a snowy field. Behind me stood a towering boundary marker, the bright red characters, China, striking against the wind and snow. It was the place where my brother had died. I wore a windbreaker, my face reddened by the wind, but my eyes were calm. Facing the camera, I slowly raised my brother's diary and turned to the last page. My voice echoed through the hall through the speakers, reaching everyone's ears. Hello everyone, I'm Jiang Sui. Today, what I want to share is not the story of a hero, but a truth that has been overshadowed by the hero's halo for far too long, a long overdue truth. Many people know that my brother died covering his comrades. But few know that the reason he died was because his comrade, Lu Qingxiao, made an unforgivable mistake. I aimed the camera at the blood-stained words in the diary and read them aloud, word by word. The map was lost. It was my fault. Qingxiao, to cover it up, risked changing the route. He can't be the one to fall. He's young, with a bright future. The hall fell into dead silence, then erupted in uproar. Everyone's gaze shot like daggers toward Lu Qingxiao in the corner. The military leaders in the front row turned from shock to ashen fury, their eyes sharp as blades. Lin Xiaowen violently shook off Lu Qingxiao's hand, her eyes filled with contempt and terror as she quickly distanced herself from him. But this was not the end. The screen then played a recorded interview with another comrade in arms. A hoarse male voice sounded intermittently. We were discovered, the firepower was too intense. It was Brother Jiang Wei. He stood at the very front, shouting, "Cover! Retreat now. It was him. It was. It was to atone for Lu Qingxiao's mistake that he was fighting so desperately. That mission, Lu Qingxiao, to grab credit and cover up his grave sin of losing the map, went his own way. He was the one who harmed brother Jiang Wei. It was him. At the end of the audio, the comrade's suppressed sobs could be heard. The evidence was conclusive, irrefutable. Under the dead silence of the entire hall, Lu Qingxiao's legs gave way, and he collapsed awkwardly into his chair. The metal on his chest now felt like a red-hot branding iron, searing his soul. On the screen, my image continued. I looked at the camera, and at him, speaking word by word. Lu Qingxiao, my brother's sacrifice is not your merit list, nor is it a tool for you to morally blackmail or move yourself with. This medal is stained with my brother's blood. You are not worthy to touch it. Today, I donate it to the nation, hoping everyone remembers that a hero's glory must not be defiled, nor traded. The video ended. And the screen went dark. The auditorium remained in dead silence. The host stammered as he announced the ceremony was suspended. Soon, two comrades from the military discipline department walked up to Lu Qingxiao, expressionless. Comrade Lu Qingxiao, per regulations, you are now required to cooperate with our investigation. Please come with us. He was like an empty shell, letting the two men hoist him up. That heroic ceremony ultimately became the most public trial of this survivor. I didn't return to that suffocating city. On the border where my brother died, I applied to become a volunteer teacher. The camp was not far from the border outpost. I taught the children to read, draw, and told them stories from beyond the mountains. Here, there was no pity, no scrutiny, no whispers. I was just Teacher Jiang. Qin Fang came to visit me during his leave. He brought news from the city, his tone calm. The investigation into Lu Qingxiao is complete. Concealing major negligence, causing serious consequences, multiple charges combined. The military considered his past merits, and since your brother's family. That is, you didn't pursue further charges, the final ruling was to strip him of all honors and force him into a dishonorable discharge. Qin Fang paused, looking at the distant snow-capped mountains. His leg injury from before was never properly healed. He forced himself out of the hospital to put on those romantic gestures, and then didn't do his rehabilitation properly, leaving severe after-effects. The doctor said that with poor recovery, he might need to use a cane for the rest of his life. I was handing out candy to the children when I heard this, and just gave a soft There was no ripple in my heart anymore. By the way, he said, as if remembering something, his tone mocking. That Lin Xiaowen cut all ties with him completely the day after his investigation began. Clean break. I heard she's recently been getting close to the son of the director of the military general hospital. I smiled, not surprised at all. His world had collapsed. And I had found new life. Everything about him had become insignificant dust in my ears. A month later, an unexpected person appeared at the border camp. It was Lu Qingxiao. He came from thousands of miles away, leaning on a cane. In just a few months, he looked 10 years older, gaunt, haggard, weathered. He was no longer a hero. He looked more like a down-and-out vagrant. Like a sinner, he stood humbly at the door of my classroom, not daring to enter. The children all looked at him curiously. I walked out and looked at him. He avoided my gaze, carefully pulled a crumpled photo from his worn backpack, and handed it to me. In the photo, a child he had rescued from a mudslide sat in his arms, smiling brightly. His voice was hoarse, carrying a humble hope. Xiao Sui, I. I went to the southwestern mountains as a rescue volunteer. I saved people too, in your brother's place. This time, I didn't make any mistakes. He was still trying to seek redemption, seeking my forgiveness. He thought that as long as he also saved people, we would be even. I didn't take the photo. I just looked at him. My tone was calm. Lu Qingxiao, my brother saved people for the country and the people behind him. You saved people for yourself. We are not the same. This calm rejection was more devastating than any accusation. I saw the light in his eyes die instantly. That pitiful hope, I shattered it with my own hands. He looked at me, his lips trembling, and finally turned around, dragging his disabled leg, limping away until he disappeared down the mountain path. His back was pathetic and pitiful. A journalism department at a university in Beijing sent me an acceptance letter. It was Qin Fong who helped me get in touch with them. He said I was suited to be a recorder. I decided to go to school and live a life that truly belonged to Jiang Sui. The day I left, the weather was beautiful. Qin Fong and my parents all came to see me off. After my brother passed away, my parents' hair turned gray overnight, but today, they wore smiles I hadn't seen in a long time. Just as I reached the downstairs, a figure rushed out from the shadows and blocked our way. It was Lu Qingxiao. He looked even more disheveled than last time, unkempt stubble, desperate and wild eyes. He stared at me intently, then glanced at my family and Qin Fong beside me. Suddenly, in front of all of us, he dropped to his knees with a heavy thud against the concrete floor. He wept, tears and snot smeared across his face, babbling incoherent confessions to my parents. Uncle, Auntie, I'm sorry to Jiang Wei. I was wrong, I deserve this. Please, forgive me. He didn't dare look at me, only begged my parents. Before I could speak, my father stepped forward. He didn't help him up, just looked at him calmly with a detached gaze. Lu Qingxiao, my father's voice was steady and firm, my daughter is right. My son's glory belongs to the nation, not to you personally, and certainly not your shackles. You haven't wronged us. What you've wronged is your own conscience and the military uniform you once wore. Go now. From this day on, our family owes you nothing, and you owe us nothing. My mother came over, tightly gripping my hand, her eyes full of determination. Sui, let's go. Don't miss the train. My family's understanding and strength were the final link in breaking free from all my shackles. I nodded, pulled my suitcase, and with my parents and Qin Fong by my side, turned and walked toward the station without giving him another glance. Still, at the intersection, I looked back once. That man who was once so arrogant now knelt alone in place, like a forsaken ghost. He had completely lost all hope. I didn't linger, and without looking back, I boarded the train to Beijing. The scenery outside the window rushed backward, and everything from the past was left far behind. From today on, the shackles of that metal have nothing to do with me anymore. A year later, in Beijing, Qin Fong's in-depth report on the border heroes won the highest award in the domestic journalism industry. The report not only documented the heroic deeds but also explored the difficulties faced by the families of the heroes after their sacrifice. The report sparked enormous social response. The Heroes Families Assistance Foundation, that he and I co-founded, also received widespread support. At the grand award ceremony, I was invited to speak as a co-founder. Under the spotlight, I wore an elegant off-white suit, my long hair draped over my shoulders, calm and confident. I was no longer the fragile girl who needed protection. Facing the hundreds of spectators below, I spoke eloquently about the Foundation's philosophy. thunderous applause erupted from the audience. At the reception after the ceremony, amid the crowd, I inadvertently caught sight of a figure that seemed out of place. It was Lu Qingxiao. He had put on some weight, wore an old jacket, and mingled with the logistics staff, helping clear the dishes. He still walked with a limp, his eyes dim, exuding an air of decline. If I hadn't happened to look over, I wouldn't have noticed him at all. Our gazes briefly met in the air. He saw me, saw my relaxed and bright smile, saw Qin Fang beside me, equally radiant. He froze entirely, nearly dropping the tray in his hands. Then, unexpectedly, he bowed deeply toward my direction, clumsily, from afar. This bow carried no performance or pleading. Perhaps it was his long overdue, genuine repentance. He didn't try to approach. After bowing, he immediately turned, dragging his injured leg, and almost fled into the dim corner. I averted my gaze and smiled at Qin Fang beside me. As for him, I had long let go. The metal my brother left behind had once been a shackle binding me. But now, it had transformed into the brightest star in the sky, forever illuminating my path forward. I had found something more meaningful than hatred. My wedding with Qin Fang was settled. The ceremony was simple and warm, inviting only close family and friends. Before the wedding, Qin Fang and I made a decision. We returned to the snowy mountains where my brother had sacrificed his life, wanting to see him one last time before the wedding. The towering boundary marker still stood amidst the wind and snow, the vivid red characters, China, burning like an inextinguishable flame. At my brother's memorial, I placed a bouquet of white chrysanthemums. Not far from the memorial, we unexpectedly discovered a stone half buried in the snow. On the stone, a line of crooked words was carved with a sharp object. Brother, I was wrong. There was no signature, but both Qin Fang and I knew exactly who it was. Beside the inscription lay a rusted bullet casing. Perhaps that was the final account he could offer. The mountain wind blew, stirring the snow, as if whispering something. I instinctively tightened my grip on Qin Fang's hand, and he held mine back, his palm warm and strong. I looked up toward the distance. The snow-capped mountains refracted brilliant light under the sun, not cold at all. His sun had set forever in the tragedy he himself had orchestrated. But my sun had risen anew. This time, its radiance was dazzling, belonging only to me.